Are there more historical romances brewing inside of you?
At the moment, no. I don't ever want to say like never say never or anything like that because I would love to explore more options. There's always ideas in my head where I'm like, I'd love to write this, I'd love to write that. And so I'd love to write a pirate novel. So maybe one day,
Mm,
but at the moment, no. I've been reading a lot of contemporary romance. I just released a contemporary romance novel and I want to write another one now. So there's that. And then there's other things I've planned, and in my head I've got 20 different ideas that I need to actually tell to be quiet and focus on one at a time. But
yeah.
I would love to go back. I've had people actually say they like a sequel to Black Point. I don't know how I would do that, or because to me, I feel like their story's done and been told. I wouldn't mind going back, but I just don't know how I would bring a story. Maybe a short story or something I could do, but at the moment I don't have any plans for any more historical fiction at the moment.
Yeah. Did you find writing historical romance to open up or close off different parts of your creativity that's different from writing a contemporary romance or a paranormal romance?
I would say no. I think it just gave me a different perspective, maybe so to speak. I think one thing I had to remember was what existed then, what didn't exist, and what was okay and not. And like, I definitely like dating today isn't what courting would be back then. So you have to remember, you have to remember it's not dating, it's courting, it's this, it's that. What would be considered appropriate then, what we would consider appropriate today wouldn't be considered that then. So I think it was just a different perspective of how things were. So there's that. And the whole thing kind of goes against the grain. That's the whole point of the town of Black Point, is it's a bunch of misfits have kind of come to this little town and sort of made it their own. So no one's quite following the rules. So in a way, it worked, but I think I got to cheat a little bit and make it work.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed too during my research was I wanted to use the word two spirit to describe Joe, because later on when Cassie figures out what exactly who he is, and she's like talking to people and they give her an idea of what I wanted to use that word to describe it. But I found out the word two spirit actually didn't become a thing really until the 90s.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I'm sure they had their words for it. The Blackfoot had their words for it back then, and every tribe had their own word. But I guess it didn't become, I guess, a mainstream common word or English word, I should say, maybe until like the 1990s, which was so I had to go back and change a few things back then in the book and make sure I had the right words to use for it at the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that.